Yeah, I'll keep following.
If you're a good cartographer, we might have you on a future event or lunch and learn.
Yes, he is a good cartographer and he's a good presenter. I
Perfect.
volunteer him.
Yeah, right.
I offer him as tribute.
Love it.
I'm going to paste the link to his website in this chat. Wait, can I do that? Can I
Yeah, you
chat?
should be able to.
Messages, in-call messages. Okay, paste. Okay, check out that URL. Cartography.
Awesome. We'll check it out. All right. I think I have my recording going. Now I'm just trying to share my screen again. It's going slow. There we go. We still got people funneling in, but I'm going to go ahead and get started with my part here. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Tyler Nuttall. I am your Georgia Geospatial Association Vice President on the board. I just want to thank everybody for taking some time out of their day to be here for our final Lunch and Learn of 2025. Really excited to have our special guest, John Nelson, on this Lunch and Learn. But really quickly, I just want to say, if you're new to GGA, who we are, we're a nonprofit GIS user group made up of GIS professionals from private sector, government sector, folks of all walks of life coming together to learn more about GIS and to network and bring about a sense of community in the GIS world. Here's some great photos from this past year. We had a great conference in September at Jekyll Island. We've had lots of new chapters start up across the state, which is giving folks great uh, opportunities to have in-person interactions with other people, other GIS people, in other remote parts of the state. And we had a great GIS week. Kudos to Zach Sordolski on the board for putting together the GIS week. Zach put a lot of work into putting everything together for that week where we had 4 various events across the week in different areas. And we are working on getting some of those recordings up on YouTube now. So please feel free to take the time to scan the QR code to check out the story map that was built between Zach and JP, our education outreach chair. Nice. Thank you, John. Yeah. Lead by example. And then I want to announce, most of you may have seen this, we're having our winter workshop coming up here, February 18th. That's going to be in Alpharetta, Georgia. And so that's a full day workshop event with various presentations from Esri, from InterDev, who is the sponsor. They're going to be talking about different work they're doing with local governments, and then various presentations from the GIO's office as well about some of their state-run programs. I think they're going to focus around the imagery that they've collected and some things that you could do with the imagery. And here is, looks like, yeah, thank you, Zach. He's put in the link for that event. I have a QR code here as well if you're on a mobile device and want to scan it. But Zach has the registration in the chat. And that event is free for members. If you're not a member, the cost to join or the cost to attend is a membership. So if you're not a member, we always encourage you to join our group because it's not a big amount of money, and we take that money and we use it to pay for things like this Google Meets, the recording technology I mentioned earlier to record the meetings, and for the food at our events, and the technology that backs this organization to make it work. So this is our membership, our member feedback QR code. If you want to leave us any feedback, feel free to scan. And if you're not a member, here's a QR code right here to scan to become a member. And with that, I'll go ahead and hand it over to our special guest, John Nelson. Thank you, John, for being here today. I'll stop sharing.
Thanks, Tyler. I love being here. Thank you. It's an honor to chat with you all. I'm so excited. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay. Okay. You can all see a browser, ArcGIS Online.
Yep.
Okay, I see a thumbs up. Hey, before I get rolling, feel free to turn your camera on. It's right now I'm just looking at Tyler. I'm going over to Tyler all the time. I'm like, what kind of feedback am I getting? How's this going? I gotta fuel up socially.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to present when there's people watching. I love it. I like especially when you go like this, like what is he even talking about? And make like, this is laughable, that kind of thing. No, that's great. I mean, we're on this together. We're all map nerds, and I like to see people's faces. It's just easier than speaking into a void too. And you can see each other, which is, one of the cool things about Google Meet. Let's meet. Okay, so I'm going to show you. You thought I was going to show you my browser, but really I've tricked you, and this is a PowerPoint presentation. Okay, so I think about what can I present to people, a group of fellow exquisite GIS nerds that would be broadly useful in the 1 hour that we have together. And I think areas of interest, different ways of visualizing them and thinking about them and ways of achieving them might be pretty useful. Because, I mean, we use an area of interest in many of our maps, nearly all of our maps. And if it doesn't have an area of interest, geez, maybe it should. I don't know. So here are different ways to create an area of interest visualization, focusing on your area. Nice ground and for visualization. And I'll show you how to do it in ArcGIS Pro and also in ArcGIS Online. Okay, let me just tell you what I'll be using besides ArcGIS Pro and ArcGIS Online. I'm going to be using an amazing layer in Living Atlas called Global Background. We'll see that. I'll talk about that in a second. And then what you're seeing now will be the result of hours and hours of my failure. Me trying things and it doesn't work. And I try something else. And then I try something else. And that also doesn't work. Eventually something will work and it sticks. And I'm like, okay. And I put that on the shelf and I come back to it. Or I fail and fail and fail and give up. And then, in the middle of the night, I sit up and I go, a child could do it. I've got it. And then I can't wait to race to my computer and try it out. So this is what you're seeing, the result of all that failure. I heard a quote. I think it was like some football coach. And he was like, I never fail. I never lose. I either win or I learn. I was like, wow, that's pretty macho. But it also is pretty true when it comes to making maps. There's no one right way to make a map. And there's lots of ways to learn how to make even better maps. And our imaginations, we're going to be using our imaginations in this, using tools, maybe in ways for which they were not designed, which is my favorite way. Our goal is to get familiar with blend modes and group layer management. We are not going to do any geoprocessing. It's an affront to me to have to fire up a geoprocessing tool, create another layer and maintain it and name it just for a visual effect in a layout. We're going to just use visual effects. Stretch goal, maybe if we have time, we'll apply area of interest visualization techniques to lines and points because, not everything is a polygon. There's my beautiful daughter, Clover. That's Clover. That's Sparrow. Two littles, we took them on. Oh, I don't know if you know this because you're in Georgia, but in Michigan, it's actually a state law that everybody in Michigan, at least once every 5 years, has to drive down to Florida for spring break and get away for a week. It's something about public health. Otherwise, everybody would just slowly go even more insane than we already are in Michigan. So we did our due diligence this last spring and took a spring break trip. We put these two little amazing human beings in the back of our minivan, and Danielle and I barreled south and we headed to Florida. But before we did that, I invented a life hack for parenting. If you're a parent, this is the most important thing you'll hear all day. We had this big trip ahead of us, and it's like, what are we going to do with these little kids in the daytime when it's Florida and it's like 600 degrees and a guy like me would turn into a little pile of ash and blow away in the midday sun of Florida. And I want to duck away to the hotel and just chill for a while. I took them to the Lego aisle at the store and I said, Sparrow, Clover, pick out one of anything within reason. And they were like, oh, wow, are you sure? And Sparrow picked out a Lego Technic set. You aware of Lego Technic? Lego Technic is the thing that I was intimidated by as a youngster and frankly, as an adult too. She picked out this really complex sports car. I was like, Clover, are you sure about this? I mean, like, this is going to be a lot of work. Yeah, I want it, Dad. I want it. And she's working on it. It worked out brilliantly, when it gets too hot outside and I've already burned the tops of my feet from my sandals and I have little Z tan lines in the top of my feet for the next year and a half. We ducked into the hotel, and they just worked away at their Legos. It was so great. Frankly, I was very proud of myself. What a dad move. I really did it. You got to savor those wins. Pardon me while I take a sip of my Kroger peach flavored sparkling water. Thank you. This presentation is brought to you by Kroger peach flavored sparkling water. It refreshes and keeps you hydrated. Okay. Do you all want to see the instructions for this? Look at the instructions. That's the That's a little, manual for how to play. Oh, here you go, kid. Here's how to play. Here's a instruction manual for you to read so you can play. Of course, I'm a geographer, so I put a National Geographic magazine there for scale. It was thicker than National Geographic. It has glued binding, for crying out loud. It was a book. And I had this crisis. What am I doing? My wonderful little brilliant human mind, such a plastic brain soaking in the world and creating whatever she wants. And I'm used to dumping out the tub of Lego. You hear that sound, that beautiful sound of sifting through Lego looking for the right piece. Because the beauty of Lego is it's modular. And you've got all these little blocks, and you're limited by what your mind can imagine and what your chubby little kid fingers can put together or pry apart. And that's the beauty of Lego. And then I see this big, thick magazine about how to follow the rules for my little, amazing human being, the next generation. I'm like, oh man, what am I doing? I wanted to I don't know, existential crisis for a parent. I mean, for example, you aren't going to find this in a Lego official instruction manual, because I'll tell you, this is considered an illegal move, an illegal operation. Did you know that? There are competitive Lego building societies where people get together, and you can't do this. This is verboten. You shall not snap a Lego piece in perpendicularly onto the board. And I'm like, really? I was so shocked when I learned that was, we learned it while we were watching that Lego show hosted by Lego Batman. He talks like this, Will Arnett. And you can't do that. And I was like, oh my gosh, you can't do that. And I'm like, really? Then why is that base plate 2 millimeters tall and the space between the studs exactly 2 millimeters tall? I didn't know this was illegal, so I did it. And it was the only way I could get my TIE fighter wings to sit perpendicular to the little cockpit, right? If it works, it's not stupid, for crying out loud. So she completed it. Look at this, you guys. Wow. She did it. So I was like, good job, Chloe. I love it. You see that little knob on the top? That's a functioning steering wheel. There's a gearing harness that controls the angle of both wheels. That's amazing. When you roll it, little pistons go up and down inside an engine block. It's really something. And I had to admit, she wouldn't have been able to do this without instructions and a load of specialized pieces. And it's cool that she's learning about gear ratios. And but I was like, at what cost? What are we losing? I don't want her to lose that ability to just dump out a bunch of bricks and let her brain go to town. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to tell you all that for the context of, let's dive into blend modes in ArcGIS. Building blocks. Okay, so I'm going to open. You all are really generous with the applause icon. I love it. Thank you so much. And I even found myself wanting to say y'all. That's how welcome I feel in your company. We don't say y'all in Michigan. We say you guys, which is stupid. It sounds dumb. You guys. We don't have a very good second person plural. You guys. It's better than Pennsylvania. Around Pittsburgh, they say yins. Did you know that? Yins. Okay. Because it's a shortened corruption of Ewins. So anyways, linguistic tidbit achieved. So I'm going to add from Living Atlas. I'm on the Living Atlas team at Esri, by the way. I don't know if you knew that. Living Atlas. It's like Wikipedia for data and maps. Contribute stuff, pull stuff down and use it. It's there for the taking. I'm going to Search for blend mode helper. Okay. Via those little emoji responses that you've been so generous with, tell me if you've used blend modes in your work. If you've used blend modes in your work, I'm going to give you 5 seconds. I'm going to see how many like little things go. Okay. Oh, I'm seeing a bunch of no's. Okay. Some yeses. Okay. Now, if you haven't used them, give me the no. Give me the no. Oh my gosh. Wow. This is great. I'm so happy I get to talk with you today. I am so blessed and grateful to get to talk with you today. I'm trying to channel my inner football player. Okay, so here we go. So this is a blend mode helper. This is just the tile layer I made. It's available all over the world. Just keeps showing itself no matter where you zoom, no matter where you pan. And I wanted to give you a safe pile of Legos to play with, sort through them, and build what you want in a consequence-free environment. So here's that layer. And here's where you find the blend modes in the properties tab of ArcGIS Online. Blending. I mean, what even is blending? Let me tell you something. The fact that you're seeing this layer on top of the base map layer is blending. Some computer scientists who had to write graphics software had to decide, oh, we're going to honor Z layer, and the thing that's on top is what you see. That's a blend mode. Transparency is a blend mode. If I make this 50%, the fact that it's averaging itself on top of the base map is a blend mode. Transparency is just another blend mode. It happens to be a wildly popular blend mode, so we don't think of it that way. Also, did you see how when I dragged that transparency slider, I nailed it right at 50%? That was my goal. Those are the little things you try to achieve and get good at as your career advances. Someday you'll be as good as I am at sliding a slider and dropping it exactly where you want it, precisely at 50%. So that's a blend mode. Let's take a look at some of the other weirder blend modes, shall we? So I'm going to expand this. There's a lot of blend modes. Look at this, you guys. That list, there's like 600 blend modes there. It's too many blend modes. What's going on? Let me tell you about a handful of blend modes that are like the base blend modes. And then all the rest of them are just little variants of those, okay? So there's a lightning blend mode group and there's a darkening blend mode group. Let's start with the screen. Screen. If I choose screen only lets through lightness. Screen only lets lightness through. So what do we have here? It makes sense. Black now becomes fully transparent. You can see through black. White, fully opaque. It honors lightness. So white is unfazed. Gray is 50% transparent. So you get this gradient from black to white actually is transparent to white, okay? The opposite of screen, I'm going to quiz you on this later. You think I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. The opposite of screen is multiply, the darkened version. So the Bizarro World version of screen is multiply. Boom. Multiply keeps only darkness. So black to white becomes black to transparent. Black, unfazed. White, poof, gone. Gray, 50% black. Okay? Multiply keeps darkness. Screen keeps lightness. Okay. So those are the two biggies. And those are the two building blocks that we can work from because hard light is just both of those at the same time. Boom. If I do hard light, black is there, white's there, but gray is invisible. So black to invisible to white on a gradient of the gray scale. Okay. So that's just both of them at the same time. Hard light. Soft light. It's just a gentler version of hard light. And I like to use this for hill shade. Now, those are the biggies. There's a batch of weird ones down here I want to tell you about. And we're going to make a lot of use of these. It's the composting set. I can't help but think composting every time I read compositing. We do a lot of gardening and we have chickens. Composting is just way closer to my mental reach when I read that. So this is the composting group and destination in and out. Okay. So if you think about cookie cutters, so it's almost Christmas time. You might be making little Christmas tree cookies. So you roll out the cookie dough, roll it out flat. That's our whole map. And then you got the Christmas tree cookie cutter and you punch Christmas trees. Destination in leaves only the Christmas trees. You peel away all the extra dough and you have that tray full of Christmas tree cookies, okay? The opposite of destination in is, you may have guessed, destination out. Okay, destination out is your flattened bit of dough and then you've peeled away your Christmas tree cookies and put them somewhere else. This is the leftover dough. Destination out is the leftover dough. Destination in are the cookies. Okay, it's cookie cutters. Compositing. I got it right that time. Okay, so those are the big ones. I just wanted to show you those. Let me... Oh, and then there's normal, which I think is funny. Normal. Normal just kind of gives you like no blend mode. All right, so I'm going to remove this. And I'm going to show you all. Let's go back to our slides. So here's what we're going to do today. I'm already almost halfway through, so I know we're not going to get through everything. Once I get talking about blend modes and Lego stuff, I go off the rails, and give me 4 hours. Give me 4 hours next time, Tyler.
Okay.
And we'll really do this justice. And
I can do that.
Thank you. Okay. So here's one we're going to do, outside darken. So there's our area of interest. Everything outside of it is just darkened a little bit. I can still see it, so I have visual context for what's around me, but I see visually it's less prominent. This is an excellent cartographic option for you to show your area of interest. The opposite of that, of course, is to lighten outside. Just kind of fade everything away. It's up to you. Purely aesthetic choice. There's no right way to make a map. You could also blur that a little bit and get a cinematic effect. It looks like a spotlight with kind of a soft vignette. You could also use this for data that might not have hard territory. So you might like this for a political boundary, but maybe you have an animal habitat zone. That's a soft edge that the overconfident vector format doesn't represent very well. Everything outside is out. Everything inside is in. This is for a softer thing. Maybe this is showing areas of elevated CO2 concentration, right? Something with a soft edge, we can blur that outside edge. We can do the same thing with a lightened fade, like a light vignette, which always makes me hungry, like vinaigrette. We can do a drop shadow with no fill. Give me just the drop shadow, please. I'll have just the drop shadow with no fill. Seems impossible, but it almost is. Another version is just give me color. Everything outside is black and white. I still have the context for everything outside, but I can definitely tell what I'm supposed to be looking at right here. And it's pretty. I see this a lot on like ESPN. I don't have cable. And so when I travel, I turn on ESPN. That's my chance to watch ESPN. And they like to use this for replays where they spotlight a specific player. They'll take the whole scene, they'll make it grayscale, and then they'll like focus on one player. You know, they'll just make them full color, and you can follow it beautifully. It's a great method. Another way to showcase your area of interest is by giving it a different base map. One base map in your area of interest, one base map outside. I even threw in a little faded edge here because we can. All of these techniques are additive. You can stack these up and combine them and mix and match them. Maybe you want it to be blurry outside. That's cinematic. It looks pretty cool with imagery, which I don't show in this. Also, check this out, National Geographic style. So if you look at a National Geographic political map, they have these polygons, and then they have an inner ribbon of color along the inside path of that. I always wondered what that was called. So I asked a colleague of mine, Alan Carroll, who invented story maps. Alan Carroll, he's about to retire. He used to be the chief cartographer. Susan Miller loves Alan Carroll, and so do I. Thank you, Susan. He used to be the chief cartographer at National Geographic. Can you imagine that business card? I would have like little metal business cards made, and I'd shoot them out like ninja stars. If I had the title of chief cartographer at National Geographic, I'd just fling them all over they'd be sticking out of my walls. What a title. Great guy. I said, Alan, what do you call those bits, that band of color on the inside? He said, oh, I don't know. And I thought that was really cool of him, right? Very unassuming. He said, we always just called them ribbons. Huh. Okay. So this is a polygon's ribbon. I looked it up later. They're called buffalo tints. I like ribbon a lot better than buffalo tint. Buffalo tint probably has, I think it had some legacy naming scheme from an old printing technique. Or you can get all graphic designy. Graphic designers love a good inner glow. Inner glow. Cool. How do you do inner glow? Good grief. ArcGIS Online or ArcGIS Pro. Can you even do that? Is it possible? You're seeing a screenshot of it. Or you could turn it up to 11 and do like a USGS National Park style with like the hatched edge and fade it. Oh my goodness. There's all kinds of options. This isn't quite area of interest, but it is a little bit area of interest. You can spill outside of your map frame in ArcGIS Pro, spill over the neat line. I saw this. You see this in so many old maps when people were etching copper plates. They could frankly do anything. It took a lot longer and it was a lot harder work. But once you had that copper etcher in your hand, you could do anything. You could spill over the neat line was not the boss of USGS cartographers in 1912, right? Here we are, 110 years later, and we're like, oh man, I can't go over the neat line. No way. Spill over that neat line. You can also do lines of interest. I mean, nothing special about areas. Maybe we have a linear feature. We can do that. And points of interest too. So let me escape from there. I'm going to add, in my half hour of allotted time remaining together, pardon me, sponsored by Kroger. Kroger. It's so refreshing. I'm contractually obligated to mention Kroger every 15 minutes, so keep me honest. So I'm going to add from Living Atlas, HUC, watershed boundaries, hydrological units of concentrated water. I don't know what HUC stands for. I forget. HUC 10, hydrological unit C. Let's do HUC 10s. Add. Let's see what we get. It's going to take about 30 to 35 minutes to draw in. Okay, there they are. Let me zoom in here. Okay, so I have these HUC boundaries. These are watershed boundaries. Come on. Okay, there they are. My imagery is a little dark. My base map imagery is kind of dark. Are we stuck with it like that? No. Let's come here. I'm going to go to the base map. Currently imagery is selected. I'll click this. I'll dig into it, and I'll select this world imagery layer. And over here in ArcGIS Online, there's an effects category. If you've never used effects, give me the thumbs down. I'm kind of curious how many people have like effects. That's for, okay, we've got Laura, Gonzo, Laura, Megan, Maxine, Grant. Well, let me tell you something. Get ready to live, Grant. Check this out. Effects tab with my world imagery layer selected. I just want to boost it a little bit. Look at all those thumbs down. It's so many. I shouldn't ask for you to give me thumbs down. It's kind of takes the wind out of my. Okay, so I'm going to saturate this. Why not? You only live once. I'm going to crank it all the way up. Brightness and contrast. Contrast I'll make low so that we can afford to go pretty bright. That's nice. That's better. Okay. Effects, y'all. Effects, y'all. So let me go back to my layers. Here's our HUC layers. I can't even see it. I'm just going to grab this one. I don't know what city I'm near. I don't have a labels layer on right now. I'll add it later. So I'm going to copy this HUC ID and filter it so we only show that one. So I'll come to the filters, add new. HUC 10 is, I'll paste in that value and I'll wait. You can do it. Okay. Save. Okay. I'm waiting. Come on. See that little blue dot? Come on. Come back. Come back to me. Look at that blue dot. It's like that little beach ball for people who use Macs. You can do this. You can do this. I feel like the turtle dad from Nemo. Or like the opposite of Marlin. You can't do these things, Nemo. Okay, we got it. Okay, but it's so hard to see. This is my area of interest. Okay, so let me open up the styles. Thank you, Nemo. The gift that keeps on giving. Nemo made me cry in the movie theater. Good grief. When he like found that one little egg that was left over, I'm going to cry right now thinking about it. I got to stop. Edit layer style. and style options. Come here and let's make it white. Done. I'll make it a little thicker, like 2. Okay. So you might think, okay, this is a good area of interest, but not really, because it conflicts with roads, and I might have other things in it that are white and linear, and I don't know exactly. I wouldn't be confident once data was in here that what I was seeing was my area of interest boundary. Also, I'll tell you, if I zoom in, which one's inside and which one's outside? I don't have the context of the entire polygon, right? So I don't have any visual clue for membership in or out. So we can do better than this. Let's do better than just a solid outline. Let me get my document up. By the way, everybody, I want to tell you, don't feel like you have to take notes or even pay attention, because at the end of this, I'm going to give you a link, and it'll have all these things that I'm showing you, plus a bunch more in little recipe format, and you can follow it and do them in your own map. Yes, thank you man, you guys are so generous. Did you hear me say you guys? Sorry. Y'all are so generous with your woo. Look at that. You will have the document. Get me all fired up. I love it. Okay, so let's see. What can I do for? Let's do the first one. We'll do we'll darken the area outside of our area of interest. I gotta stop rambling and start clicking. So it means I'm going to add another layer from Living Atlas called Global Background. This time I'm going to ask you to give me a thumbs up if you use Global Background ever, if you've ever used Global Background. Okay, Atlas, not Susan, not Laura. Shauna has, T hasn't. Okay, I'm going to add Global Back. What even is this first? I'm going to add it. Oh, great. That's great. It's a big rectangle that covers the whole world. One rectangle, the whole world. And this is authoritative in Living Atlas? Who would even nominate? Oh, Jay Nelson. Okay. Well, let me show you something, you guys. View details. I'm going to view the details for this. Let's look at the usage stats. Oh my gosh. In the past 12 months, let's see how many times this has been used. It might take a minute. While that loads, while the query is crunched, this is my enduring contribution to Esri customers. This is when I retire, they'll be like, thank you, John, for all of your work, and thank you for nominating the Global Background rectangle to Living Atlas. Look at that. Now 100,000 times a day it's used. Why? Why would somebody want a rectangle that covers the whole world? Because it happens to be useful dough. If you want to roll out your dough and do some geoprocessing and cut things out, or maybe do some visual clipping, it's great. And it's really useful cartographically to just layer something and give it whatever color or style you want and then go to town. Oh my goodness. Sorry. I'm so braggy. Shame on me for being braggy about living, or about my Global Background living contribution. I'm just so proud of it. So that's Global Background. I'll come back here. I'm going to drag this to the bottom. Okay. So I have our boundary. We have Global Background and then an imagery base map. So let's turn these on. I'm going to come to the styles. I have my watershed area of interest selected. I'm going to come to the styles, and I'm just going to make it white. So the fill is white, and I don't need a stroke. Why isn't that doing anything? Am I crazy? Solid fill, white. Fill transparency, 100%. There's always some gotcha. Okay, there it is. Okay, so I have a solid white fill. Now, at this point, I'm going to use a blend mode. So with this area of interest selected, I'm going to come to the properties, and let's break out the blend modes, friends. Instead of normal, which is nothing, I'm going to choose. Now, what's the one that gets rid of lightness and maintains only darkness? Are you thinking multiply? Because that's the right answer. Let me do multiply. Ready? Oh no. Why don't I see through? It's because I only applied multiply to my white layer. And so naturally it disappears. What I need to do is apply multiply to both of these at the same time in a group. So let me turn that off. Normal. I'm going to create a group. Create group. Do you ever accidentally hit remove instead of rename and you're like, oh my gosh, seriously? Happens to me all the time. I'm begging for a little undo thing at the bottom of the screen that gives you like 3 seconds to undo it. I see you like that idea. Put it in the ideas website. They don't listen to employees. They only listen to customers when it comes to new ideas. And that's no joke. Goodness, this is refreshing and delicious. Thank you, Kroger. Okay, so with these 2 items in a group, now I can grab this group as a whole and say, hey, group, you now have a blend mode where I want to eliminate lightness and show only darkness. Boom. Oh my goodness, we've got a darkened outside and a pristine, unaffected inside. Maybe that is a little bit strong for your taste. Well, let me go to global background, and I'm going to edit the layer style. And I'm not kidding. You guys are the most interactive audience maybe I've ever had, and I love you. I'll do this. So if I want to make it slightly more transparent, I just make it slightly more white. And I can walk up this grayscale. The more white it becomes, the more transparent it becomes. Isn't that neat? I can also tint it a color by going over here. I just don't want it to look like, I mean, maybe if this was like Georgia University Bulldogs recruiting map, I could do something like that. I'll just leave it untinted at like 50% white, 50% gray. Okay, done. Okay, now I have an area of interest. I can see everything. I still have context, but I know what I'm supposed to be looking at. And when I zoom in and I can't see the whole polygon, I still know where I'm supposed to be paying attention, right? I have an idea of membership, any scale, which is important. Okay. What about the light version of this? Okay. So I'm going to come to this group layer. I'm going to undo this blend mode, set it to normal. Okay. I'll make this black. So edit layer style, my area of interest, instead of white, I would like to make it black. Okay. Now when I grab this whole group, my goal is to make all darkness disappear, which is, come on, think it out loud. Say it. Root for me. Is he gonna click screen? Yes. Okay. Screen eliminates darkness, leaves only lightness. We have semi-transparent white outside, pristine, unaffected on the inside. It makes so much sense, and it's so simple. What if I wanted to soften that edge? Maybe instead of a political boundary, or just for aesthetic reasons, I want this to be like a soft vignette kind of thing because that rocks. Well, I can grab this area of interest and come over to my effects layer. Everybody who hasn't used effects yet, let me gently guide you to how easy and low risk effects are. With my area of interest selected, effects tab, I'm going to go into the blur option. Boom. Blur. And then I can just blur this to taste. Isn't that cool? It's easy. I got a nice little cinematic thing. I could have done that with the dark background too. The blur effect is so great. If only you could do that in ArcGIS Pro. But there sadly is not effect support in ArcGIS Pro. Yet. I'm told it's coming. It's so close. It was going to be in like the last release, but they keep like wanting to like really hone it and refine. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. Oh, I'm going to have to like delete half my YouTube videos, which are workarounds to not having effects in ArcGIS Pro. So here we are in ye old ArcGIS Pro. I'll zoom in on your beloved state of Georgia. I'm going to add from Living Atlas that same layer, hydrological unit C. I don't know what the C stands for. 10. You probably do because you're actual professionals. And expand this. Huck 10. Go. And it's going to zoom me out to the whole world. That's helpful. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Pro. Thank you for zooming out to the whole world. Let's go. Let's see. Let me get this. This is a good looking one. Okay. Alligator Creek watershed. I love it. Okay. So I'm going to filter this one. And in ArcGIS Pro, they don't call it filter. They call it definition query, obviously. So I'm going to do a new definition query, aka filter. And Huck 10. is equal to naming things in software is one of the hardest elements of software. It's like, what do we call this? And I'm sure the reason is somebody was like, we already have filter, and it's this weird little obscure tool down in the basement. And they're like, oh, geez, what do we call it now? Well, how about definition query? And it worked. Okay, so I've hit OK. Once again, I'm like hoping. Okay, there it is. Good. It worked. How do I do that effect in ArcGIS Pro? So let me also add. Yeah, JT's curious too. So let me go to Living Atlas and go to global background. My old friend. It's going to be on my tombstone. Here lies John Nelson, creator and strong advocate of global background. Drag that underneath. Okay. And I'm going to come here. And in my properties, I'm going to make this, let's make it white. And I'll turn off my outline. Similarly, I'll grab these. I'm going to group them. Okay, now I have a group layer with a white area of interest and a gray background. With that whole group selected, I'll come to the group layer and I'll give it a layer blend of, I want to have a dark background. So I remove lightness. Multiply, removes lightness. And now I want to tone down this to be a little bit lighter. So I'm going to make it 50% gray. Ooh, that's not very obvious. Oh, okay. Wait, this is an opportunity to make our imagery base map brighter and more vivid in ArcGIS Pro. So I'm going to go to map, add data, Living Atlas. I'm going to add Hillshade, which is how it's pronounced in Michigan. It's a regional pronunciation. World Hillshade. I'll add this, and I'm going to blend this on top of our imagery. I'm going to do soft light. It's just kind of a nice little, especially in a mountainous area, you can see the little wrinkles. It emboostifies is the technical term. It emboostifies your imagery base map. My goodness, that's refreshing and affordable. Okay, so there's my base map. Here's my group. How do I make it blurry? There's no blur option in ArcGIS Pro, famously. So if I come here, how can I get around this? Let me turn off that blend mode for now so we can see what we're working with here. I've got a white outline. Here's my symbology. If I come to my structure, I'm going to drag the outline underneath that white, and I'll come back to layers. Turn this on, and instead of a solid stroke, I'm going to give it a gradient stroke. Okay, gradient stroke is my workaround for there not being a blur or a drop shadow in ArcGIS Pro. A gradient stroke goes from one color to another color across the width of the line. Okay, so if I make this, actually, before I show you that, I'll put it back on top because that's the default location a lot of the time. I got a little lesson for you. So I'm going to make this like 40 points thick. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. Let me reverse this. Oh my goodness, that's nasty. But it goes from like brown to white. Let's just make it white to you guys are cracking me up with those flying emojis color. And I'm going to make this fully transparent on the outside edge. Okay, so it goes from white to transparent white. And you'll notice like it's a 40-point thick line, but 20 points of it are outside the perimeter and 20 points are inside the perimeter, right? Because the line grows around, the thickness grows around its center. How do we get around this? So if I grab this and I go to the color scheme properties, I can just take my opaque white and set it at 50%. Watch this. Watch this. Oh, 48. Okay, I was 2% off. I apologize, everybody. Let me go up to 50%. I'll get it next time. Next time. These are the little bits of joy that we seize throughout our day. I don't know what it is for you. Mine is dropping it perfectly on my anticipated position percentage. Hit OK. So now I have a white stroke that's just kind of smooth. Okay, now I can take this group. If I give this group a blend mode of the one that gets rid of lightness, multiply, then I have a nice vignette. of a faded soft edge. And we didn't need a specialized piece from Lego to do this. We didn't need, National Geographic thickness. Oh, Danielle's leaving. My wife Danielle is headed out. Okay, I love you. Goodbye.
Clover's in there. She's just chilling, watching Osgood.
Okay, thank you. She's going to lunch to meet my son Bear. She's so lovely. I wish you could meet her. Just the best. My daughter Clover, the Lego aficionado, is inside sick today. She's not feeling great. What Clover needs is a sip of Kroger peach-flavored sparkling water. So there is my fuzzy-edged area of interest. What about a drop shadow? Let me go back to ArcGIS Online. Okay. I want a drop shadow now. Okay. I'm going to undo my blur. And I'm going to come here. Let me turn off this screen. Normal. Let's see. I'm just going to take this right out. I'm going to get rid of my layer, remove this. I just have my area of interest layer. This one, I'm going to edit the style, and I'm going to make it white. White. Oops, that's the outline. Fill. I'm going to make white. And I'm going to give it an effect. Everybody, effects are so cool, especially this. Drop shadow. Watch this. Boom. I always uncheck this because I hate it. And then I center this. I don't like an offset drop shadow. And then I just make it pretty thick. Okay. So now I have an area of interest with a drop shadow. That's great. But I've covered up my area of interest, ironically. I can't see anything in my area of interest. How can I have a drop shadow without covering everything up? Well, let's try something. Let me come to styles. Maybe I can just make my fill transparent. So if I come to my solid fill and I just make this fill transparency nothing. Oh, I lose the whole thing. I don't want that because there's nothing to drop shadow against. If I go up, the drop shadow starts coming back, but now I have like a semi-transparent white thing on top of a black drop shadow. And it looks barfy. I hate it. What do? We're toast, right? No. So with a white fill and a black drop shadow, I can just come to the blend modes and give it a blend mode that eliminates lightness and retains only darkness, which everybody's just shouting it out in their offices right now, right? You've got like your sandwiches coming out of your mouth. You're like, pick multiply, Nelson, multiply. And the answer is yes, we got it. So now I have an area of interest with no fill that's casting a shadow. It's magical. It's so cool. It actually kind of looks like the watershed is picked up and elevated off the map a little bit too, which is a really neat effect. It's like Sokovia. Is it Sokovia in you guys know what I'm talking about? The Marvel movie with the Avengers and the whole country starts getting lifted up and like Ultron is trying to like suck the country up out. It's like the whole country of Sokovia has elevated itself and is casting this beautiful little drop shadow. And the cool thing about drop shadows is I have a sense of membership within and without, but it's awful faint, right? Isn't it pretty faint? Well, let me just come here and duplicate it. Now it's not so faint. Now it's not so faint anymore, you guys. These are the tricks, people. Now I have a nice dark drop shadow. I'll remove that. How do I do a drop shadow in ArcGIS Pro, which famously does not have effects nor drop shadow effects? Let me get this out. Okay, I'm going to remove my grouped layer. Remove. Okay, this. I have this gradient stroke. Remember, my gradient stroke is my hack. Color scheme properties. I'm just going to make this black. So black, and then 50% position is black. And then this is important. Right now, this is transparent white. So you get gray tones. You have to change this to black and then make it transparent. Otherwise, it gets muddy. Okay. Black to transparent black. Okay. Okay. But now I've got that problem where my stroke is rendering half inside my area of interest. That's going to cause problems unless I come to the structure and just reorganize this and drag that stroke underneath. Okay, great. Now all I have to do is apply multiply. I have a drop shadow for my area of interest. in ArcGIS Pro. Man, I love looking over at your thumbnails and your faces are all like nodding. Yes, thank you for that active, positive listening energy. Seriously, I love Georgia. Got stuck in Dalton, Georgia during the storm of the century in the 90s. 3 days in a van on the highway. That was an adventure. Okay. Let's see. What do I want to jump to now? I'm gonna skip to. I want you guys to see how to become National Geographic. Okay, how do we do National Geographic style? So feature layer, turn that back to normal. Okay, come here, and I'm gonna get rid of that. Now I've got that thing. I can always add more. You guys, look at this. Add symbology layer. I can add the stroke layer. You can add 1,000,000 stroke layers. That's fine. So let's make this. I'm gonna make this like bright gold. National Geographic likes that gold National Geographic color. It's called Electron Gold in Pro. Open this up. Fun rumor. When they were naming that color palette, when they were giving the names for that color palette, I heard that the staff at Esri went to the paint store in Redlands and got a list of paint colors and used those paint colors, which are, oh wait, I'm being recorded. Maybe are copywritten. I don't know. Hey, I don't know. It's a rumor. Wild rumors. That's not true. Can't be true. Okay. I'm going to make this 50% transparent. You guys ready? Yes. James digs it. Thank you, James. Okay. Here lies John Nelson. He contributed global background and he was pretty good at dropping a slider right at 50%. Oh, that's refreshing. Okay, so I hit OK. Now I have a semi-transparent fill. How do I knock out the middle? Okay, I'm going to show you an effect. So there are effects in Pro, but they're symbol layer effects. Like each of these can have its own effect. Add effect. The most delicious effect in ArcGIS Pro is called the donut effect. If I choose donut, what's going on? Let me zoom in. It nibbled away everything except for the outside edge. And it's just, how much do you want to leave? I'm going to make it like, I don't know, 7, 8 points thickness. And sometimes you might get some jaggies. If you leave it at miter, it can be rough. I like to do round. And then you could get some topological zigzags as things like might fold in over itself. So instead of fast, I like to do accurate. So it's geographically accurate with islands and stuff. And now we're effectively National Geographic. I mean, we could all become National Geographic cartographers at this point. We've cracked the code and we learned their tricks. It's no big deal. It's not a big deal to make maps at National Geographic. You have to do this. That's it. We could all do it now. Okay, so that's how you do a National Geographic style area of interest. And I love it because if I come here, I know membership within, without. And it looks kind of cool. If you make a map that looks like National Geographic, I mean, you're miles ahead of the other folks. 5 minutes. I only have 5 minutes. How do one day I saw a USGS topo map with a national park and it had this inner band, but it was hatched. It only had hatching for like this strip. I was like, that is a power. What a flex from that cartographer. Let's see if we can do that here. So instead of a solid fill, I'm just going to choose hatched fill. Oh, wow, we're done. I just did that. You guys, I just did that. Look it. We did it. Let me make it like red so it's easier to see. See? Red. Red. We did that. Little hatched fill. We are the USGS Topo Quad cartographers of 19 and 12. Okay, so let me come here. How do you do that in ArcGIS Online? It's impossible, right? Surely that can't be done. In the last 4 minutes, oh my goodness. I don't have time. I'm going to wrap. I got to wrap with my story of Clover. So you're not going to see me do this in ArcGIS Online. But remember, you have a recipe book that I'm going to give you a link to at the end. I just have to figure. I don't want people to leave because they got actual work they have to do. Okay. Sorry. I just talked too much about Kroger. I'm greedy. I got greedy on my sponsorships. So where's my PowerPoint? Let's see. PowerPoint. Go. Where are you, PowerPoint? Right, PowerPoint. Did I close it? Let me see. There it is. Okay. There's my PowerPoint. I didn't even get to show you lines and polygons. Good grief, shame on me. So anyway, what I've shown you is how to use little modular bits and pieces and assemble them into whatever you darn well please, right? There is no tool in ArcGIS Online called Create USGS Inner Hatched Area of Interest Flex Area of Interest Move button. There's no button for that. We have all these little pieces and we can do whatever we want. And over time, I noticed in myself, I used to pour out the pieces and play with, you go to university, you learn how to read, you stand in line, you file for taxes, and you follow the rules, darn it. And you see how people are working and you do the same thing because you're trained to do it that way. And pretty soon you're in a rut. And I found myself in a rut. But I want you to learn from my mistakes, which is brew a little bit of chaos once in a while. Carve out some time to experiment and try weird things, assemble different things that you've seen. Take a look at one of Atlas's maps and try to copy it and say, Atlas, check out this map I made inspired by you. And give yourself a chance. And if somebody at work comes by and says, well, what are you doing? You say, oh, this is professional development. They can't argue with you. Even HR will be like, oh, as you were, carry on. How can I assist you? Sorry to interrupt you. How can I assist you with your professional development? And even use tools in manners for which they were not designed. That's the best tool use, is misuse of tools. So a little wonderful Clover comes down the stairs a couple weeks ago and she's like, Dad, look what I made. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I love that. And sometimes she'll do like perler beads, which is like the raster world for kids. And she'll find online templates. I'm like, did you find an online template for this Lego thing that you made? She goes, no, I just, I made it. I was like, that's so cool, Clover. I'm so proud of you. She goes, it's that scary monkey thing with the drums. I'm like, yeah, I know exactly what it is. I recognize it. You did great. And then I saw it. She did the thing. Good job, Clover. The kids are going to be all right. Here is a link. If you want to grab this, this is the recipe book. I'm gonna copy this URL and paste it into our chat here. And while I do that, I'm going to say thank you, everybody, for being such a cool audience and spending 1 hour of your allotted time on this earth with me. It's a great honor, and I don't take it lightly. It's a lot of time. So let me paste this URL. You're all my friends. We're all in this together. Paste. Okay, so there's the recipe book. Thank you, everybody, for your generosity of time and spirit with all these icons and emojis. And look at me, 1 o'clock on the dot.
Perfect timing. Thank you, John. You did great. I already got people
Thanks, everybody.
saying that's amazing. So thank you.
Yeah, have a great day, everybody. I'm going to have a great day.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. Have a good one.
Happy Tuesday. Goodbye, Georgia. I love you.
All right. Bye, everybody.